All right, guys. So your underlying energy for this reading is the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles talks about work, right? It talks about hard work, dedication, concentration, um, focus, right? And it's usually about it's usually towards trying to build something, something that can stand the test of time, right? Because you're going to put in your effort and your time. You want it to stay in. You want it to stay stable. Okay. Now with the Eight of Pentacles, yeah, the Ten of Pentacles, exactly what I was saying. This is talking about building a foundation, taking your time, and really working hard, very deep, very diligently to gain the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so that's what this reading is all about. Hard work, what needs to be worked on potentially to get you to where you guys want to be. There's been a lot of waiting going on with the Three of Wands that I'm sensing here. Like there's been a lot of patience necessary, or patience being put into a such a situation, or some sort of relationship, of course, right? Because this is a love reading anyway. So this could be like you've been waiting a long time for something to kind of happen, but you've been also putting in a lot of work. You've been being very patient, as well as being very proactive in your relationships. However, I feel like with your hopes and fears, or rather your goals, right, where you guys want to be, is the Three of Swords, which is talking about looking at old feelings, old issues, potentially recognizing these old pains, and then being able to heal from them. Right? Because I feel like you've been waiting for some sort of response, waiting for something to kind of come back, but it's not necessary. But it's like this goal here is like, okay, well, I want to go ahead and deal with these old issues. I want to go ahead and hit the hammer on the head with this, and just kind of put it to rest at the end of the day, right? Because nobody wants this energy, truly. Nobody wants to be in pain. I feel like they just wanted to see the issues and then fix it. Just go ahead and know what the heck the problem is. But I feel like the reason why there isn't really any awareness of or what is going on, you guys are not able to see in your relationship what these old issues are, is because of the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles comes up when it, in regards to like being distracted. We're focusing on decisions or juggling things. Already this is kind of looking like a third-party relationship, because you have someone that's juggling, someone that's juggling two people, making a practical decision about someone. You have the Three of Swords, where you want to face these three issues, like there's three individuals, and then the Three of Wands, like you're waiting on a response. So I really get this feeling that this, you may be dealing with a person that is, involving you in a third-party relationship, or you involving them in a third-party relationship. However, I do get this feeling as well, if this is not a third-party situation, because it doesn't necessarily have to be. The Two of Pentacles could be talking about just maybe looking in the wrong place, or maybe focusing on practical aspects of the relationship rather than the emotional aspects. I think the potential reason why there isn't a lot of focusing on the emotional aspect, or looking at the old pains that you've got going on there, or whatever you're trying to get to with that Three of Swords, being that this is looking at old issues. It could be that there's a lot of focus on practical matters, focusing on practical matters, and really trying to weigh the options in regards to something tangible or something long term with an individual, whether you could see it, or see a potential future, or what you need to do to make the necessary steps to make a long term. And I feel like there's a lot of focusing on practical stuff with the Two of Pentacles, and not a lot of looking into the emotions here, especially when it comes to something that you want, and looking at these old issues. Perhaps it's just like, what do you need to protect yourself, rather than what your heart is trying to tell you. And this could be with somebody else as well. There could be somebody that's focusing on work, someone's focusing very diligently on something else, and their relationship or their emotions are on the back burner, which is pretty much why you're waiting on somebody to respond to you, right? It could be that you're waiting for somebody to stop juggling what they're juggling, so they can really focus on the relationship. So there could be that too, right? And the reason why you have the Two of Pentacles coming up in this, in this obstacle here, is because of this Ace of Swords, which is about clarity, truth, a new beginning, a new perspective. There could have been some sort of clarity come up, or maybe some sort of truth, and it's put this person in a position, or maybe it put this person in a position to like kind of like juggle and get distracted and focus on other practical stuff. Or this could be you guys, right? There's some sort of truth that something that's new, some new way of communicating, or something new coming up here, some truth, some sort of clarity in a situation. And instead of looking at your emotions, you're just trying to figure out how you can get to be more stable, right? To get to be more, to manifest a committed relationship with an individual. But your advice here that's coming up is the devil. Now, the devil energy talks about feeling trapped in a relationship. This can be toxicity, but a lot of the times this is really just talking about finding your strength in a situation where you feel like you don't have it. This could be involving addictions, or breaking old habits, things that you've been doing a long time that's never really benefited you, right? So it's almost like it's saying, this could also mean sex, and this can also talk about taboo, and honestly having fun, doing things that are not really like everyday okay things. But I feel like most importantly, this is talking about finding your strength, finding your power in your situation, because you may be feeling stuck in an aspect of your life where you do actually have everything that you need to get out of it. It's not truly encasing you or trapping you, because as you see here in the devil card, the chains around these two individuals' necks are loose. They choose to be there. They don't have to be. So with the devil coming up, this is talking about potentially trying to find the power in your relationships right now. Finding what power you need to be able to wield what you need to wield in your relationship to be more stable. Because right now, somebody's not looking at the situation at hand. Someone is just kind of like ignoring their emotions, perhaps because they're hurt still because of this, right? Maybe it's the pains that they're trying to avoid at the moment, because it hurts. The Three of Swords still hurts. And this Ace of Swords is one of those swords that's potentially in the heart, or that clarity that's like, hey, you have some stuff that you need to deal with. Avoiding it and dodging it may be causing more of pain. It could be holding the relationship up where it can begin to be more stable. And underneath the Ten of Pentacles, in the underlying energy here that I've pulled here, was the Four of Pentacles. That's another stable card, but usually that's somebody holding on to a place or stature where they've been, they felt vulnerable and it took them a long time to get there in the first place. Now, emotionally, guys, you have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups really talks about feeling apathetic, really feeling like stuck in your situation, stuck in your emotions. And really because you're focusing on the Three Cups there, right? That you're trying to figure out a solution on how not to be stuck, but you're only seeing what's in front of you. And I feel like it's going to require you to look within or look elsewhere, shift your focus, right? With the Four of Cups. So because there's a fourth cup there that's available, and this person here in this card doesn't see it. They don't see that there's a fourth cup behind them. And it's like, you feel stuck. You feel stuck in your emotions right now. You don't really see that there's any options outside of where you're looking. Like, you're just working with what you got. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with it, right? What are you supposed to do with your situation if you're just constantly being given the same crap over and over again? And you don't even know, like for some of you guys, with this fourth cup here, this could be like, you're not sure if this offer, this cup that's being, given to you, it could be that you guys may be like, you're not sure if this is the same old thing. For some of you guys, this corresponds with the Three of Wands, right? You're waiting on some sort of response. You're waiting on a response for love. And I feel like, or not response for love, but response in general. Like, there could be somebody that you were trying to reconnect with, but they're distracting themselves with work because of some sort of communication, some sort of truth. But in your hopes and fears, you have the Seven of Cups, which talks about feeling confused, or just talks about, options, being able to make a decision about what your heart's desire is. But it's going to require you to know what your heart's desire is in the first place, or know how you feel about certain things, right? To know what to pick from the Seven of Cups to stash, you have to know what you want, right? And it's great, right? If you have like an idea, you have a path of some sort, which kind of can correspond with these. But this talks about confusion, talks about not really being able to see through the glitz and glamour, because all of these options can be really awesome, but it's all about what it is that you want emotionally that makes that really makes this card a lot more complex. So, which makes sense, right? To have this situation, you want to have more options. You don't want to feel stuck in your situation. You don't want to feel like with that Seven of Cups, you don't really, you're stuck in limbo, and you're kind of in fantasy land as well, because you got a lot of stuff that's very clear in a sense. You feel very stuck. You're waiting on some sort of response. You want to see the situation as for what it is, not really for for anything else. You want to know what the problem is, but there's something that is more like somebody that's struggling, that's keeping the balance of something, instead of assessing what their emotions are because of some sort of truth. And I feel like the hopes and fears is that, maybe that the situation won't be so bad, but ultimately where you guys want to be is the outcome of the situation is the Four of Swords, which is taking a break, taking a pause, reflecting and looking upon yourself. Why is the Seven of Cups coming up in their hopes and fears? Because I feel like that's really what's throwing me. The Hermit. Self-reflection. Self-reflection with the Seven of Cups. The reason why the Seven of Cups is coming up in your hopes and fears is because of self-reflection. Okay. And I feel like, I guess, because with the Seven of Cups, like I said before, you have to really look at each of these options and see if this is really what rings a bell, right? If it really hits that note. But somebody's not really in their emotions right now. They're focusing on practical stuff. They can't really make a clear, solid decision if they're focusing on something that isn't necessarily important. I feel like with the Two of Pentacles, it is important. I take it back. It's important. But it's how are you weighing the value if you don't know what your heart wants, right? It's important to make sure that when you make a decision with the Two of Pentacles, that your heart knows, your heart weighs in on that value too, if it's invested. And I feel like that's what the Hermit's coming up for. The Seven of Cups in regards to making a decision that truly resonates with your heart's desire. Okay, let's go ahead and look at your romance angels, guys. Wow, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest love of all. Wow. Wow, guys. It is true. It is safe. Perhaps, like I said, there's old issues. You want to face them, right? But then it's kind of scary because your heart, that's your heart that we're talking about here. It's not easy. It's going to require you to look at those issues and see what's going on. But at the same time, it still hurts. And I feel like with the Devil here, it's like, yeah, it can be daunting to look at these old issues, but you have a lot of power here. You can overcome this. You don't have to constantly feel stuck in a situation. Even when it comes to relationships or the pains that you receive, you don't have to repeat the cycle. You have more power and more control in your situation than you ever thought. I think that's why the Devil comes up for you guys in your advice. Wow. Ask for help. What is it you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need. And that makes sense too, right? If you're doing this solo, it can be very difficult. So you don't ever have to do anything by yourself. It may be hard to overcome certain stuff, right? So overcome these pains that you may be feeling. And you can, you don't ever have to do it by yourself. If you're trapped in fighting through some pain, you can get out of it. You can get out of it, but if you need help, you also have that there available too. Because the Devil is the opposite side of the Lovers, right? There's a flip side of the same coin. You have somebody there. But it's about relying on them or allowing them to help you, that can make you feel like the situation isn't as sticky or solo as you think. And then perhaps that there is a situation where, the situation is that, yeah, you're working through some stuff to be able to feel more stable in a relationship because you haven't allowed yourself to really see what's going on emotionally. And that can be hard in itself too. But then you have healing in your outcome. Healing. That's the card for healing here. Because after you look at these three swords, you take care of that situation, you need rest.